Hello, welcome back. Have not posted anything in a long time, which is unfortunately quite common for me. I'm really bad at social media, and I'm trying to get better at it, but I am back and I want to try this again. So my plan is that I have a stack of books that I want to read this week. You know, I have a lot of free time during the day at this point, between waiting for phone calls for work or doing paperwork. I don't have a lot to be doing right now, so I wanted to pick this back up again while I still had time, which is very important to me because when reading becomes stressful, I don't want to read because I am a procrastinator. Deadlines, I hate them. Feeling stressed, I'm just not gonna do it. Like, I don't know how I passed school at this point because I am the biggest procrastinator. I hate doing things if I have to do them, which isn't helpful because then it makes my anxiety worse and it makes everything else worse, and I just need to not be so stressed out. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to show you two of them I've already started. One of them got like literally 5 pages in. The other one I have not picked up since last summer. Started reading it and then never picked it back up. But I know I want to read it because a couple weeks ago I went through all of my books, and the ones that I started and I knew I still wanted to read, I kept. And then the rest of the books, if I didn't like the first chapter or the first chapter didn't hook me, I got rid of it. And I don't have any plans of buying any more books because I am chock full. I have no more space. And the people at Barnes & Noble, they do not see me all the time because they see me all the time. It's bad. But I, over this past week, I read this, Wool by Hugh Howey. And it was an impulse purchase. I had heard about it and I read the part where everyone lives in a single silo and underground. Okay, so this book takes place in future America, somewhere, maybe America, where everyone lives in a silo underground. And it goes, I think, 160 floors deep. And then they have like an oil thing at the bottom where they're like pulling oil up from the ground. So that's where it takes place. Now, I read the line, "The remnants of humanity live underground in a single silo," and my brain immediately launched to Gurren Lagann, the anime, where it starts, where everybody lives underground. And the main character, like, drills and digs for stuff. Okay, I like the Gurren Lagann, so why not try this? And it had just the right amount of, like, sci-fi-ness with just the right amount of, like, reality that The Martian had. And I've mentioned this before, but The Martian is my favorite book. I don't have my copy because I lent it out to a friend and she hasn't given it back to me in 7 months and I don't know what to do. Should I buy another copy? Probably not, but I want to reread The Martian like really, really bad. But knowing that and then reading this, I do like that aspect of it, like the sci-fi-ness. And it's really good. It was really, really good. I rated it 4 stars because I thought it was good, but it's not the best thing I've ever read. I'm probably going to pick up the sequels at some point, but not right now because I liked the way it ended, and I'm going to let my brain stew on this for a little bit longer before I pick up something else. But I really liked it. So I'm out of my 8-month reading slump. don't remember what I read last that just like, ugh. Was it Sense and Sensibility? I think it was Sense and Sensibility. Ugh, I love Jane Austen, but my brain is like ridiculously tired after reading those. So now I want to go through the books that I want to read for the week. So the first book I want to read, well, not the first book, I might not pick it up first, but one of the books I want to read is Dragons of Autumn Twilight, which is part of the Dragonlance Chronicles. It's Chronicle number 1. And I decided that I wanted to start reading it because I am a big fan of Critical Role, which is something I watch a lot when I'm working. And I liked Kings of the Wild. I think I gave Kings of the Wild 5 stars. So I know I like D&D based things. I have The Legends of Drizzt, the R.A. Salvatore series. I have book 2. Someone told me to start with book 2, not book 1. So I have book 2. I haven't picked it up yet. Like the big old fat one. It's right here. It's right there. Haven't picked it up yet, but I will at some point. I know that I'm interested in it. I'm still interested in reading it. And we'll see how Dragonlance goes. But I do like fantasy a lot. I would say the majority of the books that I read are fantasy. I'm not a big contemporary literature person. I was in high school, but I don't want to read about real life. That's why I don't really read like romance novels. I find them kind of boring, so I don't really read them. And I read a couple thrillers. Like I read The Woman in the Window. That one made me cry. I've read The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter, and I read a couple others. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I have to be really in the mood for a thriller. So, and I don't read horror because I will have nightmares, and I refuse to have nightmares. So I don't read horror because I will scare myself and I won't be able to sleep. The other book that I want to read is Red Mars by Kim Stanley Robinson. This, relate this to anime too, which is really not helpful. But it reminded me of 2 different mangas that I read in high school. One of them is called Trinity Blood, which is about vampires, the Roman Catholic Church, and vampires who drink the blood of other vampires, called Krusniks. This is my first ever anime. This one is what I watched, Trinity Blood, with my friend at her house. But in the manga, they have this thing, because vampires come from the planet Mars, because they take people for the Red Mars Project. See? Intrigued already. To colonize Mars. And when they get there, they have to infect themselves with the Methuselah bacteria to survive. And then 4 of them get the Krusnik nanomachines. And so they become Krusniks, who drink the blood of other vampires. Their names are Cain, Abel, Seth, and Lilith. 2 boys and 2 girls. It's very fun. So every time I look at this, I think of that, because that's my focal point on anything Mars is The Martian and Trinity Blood. So, it also reminded me of a manga I read called Aria, which is about women gondola people in a Mars that they melted the ice caps, and now its majority of the planet is covered in water with islands like Venice. It takes place in Venetian Mars. They remake the city of Venice on the planet Mars, and there's gondola riders. So those 2 things made me want to read this. This is about people coming to colonize Mars, and they're going to melt the polar ice caps. Some people don't want the polar ice caps melted, so I'm excited to see where that goes. So my 2 focal points are these 2 different mangas I read in high school that have stuck with me. I still go back and I read them when I can find them illegally on the internet, because I don't own any physical copies. Maybe someday I'll own the physical copies. But they were 2 of the mangas that I read in high school that really changed the way I thought about things. Like, Aria is really good about like making you see the simple things in life, because the main character comes from an Earth where everything is climate controlled and everything is run by technology. So they never have to work hard for anything. The entire planet is like this. And so she goes from Earth to Mars to become an Undine, I think is what they're called. I don't remember how to pronounce the word. The gondola steerers that are women. And she goes about living her life on Mars and just experiencing things that we take for granted every day as experiencing it for the very first time. And she's very philosophical, and it's very cute and very fun, but also heart-wrenchingly sad. And if you've never read it, you should read it because it's really good. Yeah, it was my jam. The other book I want to read, I've already kind of started. It's the only nonfiction that I'm going to be reading, and it is Women Don't Ask, Negotiation and the Gender Divide by Linda Babcock and Sarah Lashever? I don't know. I own my own business as a mobile notary. Primarily, I sign people's mortgages. So I'm trying to learn more about like marketing, but also like good business strategies, because I would like this business to be successful. I like working out of my house. I like the pace that it lets me set at life. So I'm just trying to spend this week doing a lot of research on marketing and stuff. I might take you along the ride for that, because it is technically reading. So that's my plan. The other thing that I want to be working on this week, but also this month in general, is I want to start tutoring in Latin again. I got a degree in classical archaeology and I got a minor in Latin. But I haven't used my Latin in 2 years. When I got out of college, I was really bored, so I would study it a lot because I wanted to be a Latin teacher. And that didn't really work out for a couple of reasons I don't really want to get into. But to become a Latin tutor on a lot of these websites, you have to take practicums. You have to take a test to prove your skills, and I need to brush up my skills. So I'm going to spend this month, I think, working through Wheelock's Latin Reader, which is very precious to me because it's the first Latin book I read in college when I took 201. Oh, back in 201. So this book is really special. It's also a really good brush up of skills. It has prose and poetry. And I do want to start incorporating translating more in my weekly schedule in both Latin and in ancient Greek. This is 1/3 of my Greek textbook. It's fallen apart at this point. I've used it so much from when I took Greek 101. It's got my Greek name on it. My Greek name is Cathara, because my name is Catherine. So that's fun. I like my name. So I alternate between Latin and Greek. Primarily in how I do stuff, I'll do Latin, and then I'll get a little bored, and then I'll switch to Greek. I also need to start working on my Korean. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my stepdad is Korean, and he is trying to get me to learn more Korean. He tries to talk to me in it, and I don't understand anything that he says, which is bad. So that's my other goal, but that's more like a year goal, is to get better at Korean. But I am going to primarily focus on working on this and my Greek book. This is going through the ringer a little bit. Oh my god, my little notes are in here. Wow, back when I color-coded everything. I should get back to doing that. And I always did it in rainbow order. Do you see that? Oh, I was breaking up clauses. And then it says at the top on this page, cum followed by subjunctive. Cum clause. Why did I make everything rainbow. I mean, it's really pretty. It's really pretty. Oh, 18-year-old me. There's just a thing about like smelling a Latin book that like I can't tell you like how awesome it is. Not going to be reading it, but I found something at the thrift store. So, there's these books that you have in most languages, I think, especially for ancient languages, as in Latin, Greek, and Sanskrit. They have these books called lobes. These are like hundreds of dollars. This is a lobe for Catullus, Tibullus, and this other poet's name that I don't remember how to say, so I'm not going to try. And I found this for $6. $6. Do you see that? $6 at the thrift store. Oh my goodness. I was so... I cannot tell you the nostalgia that comes through my brain when I smell this. It smells like my college library, which I spent so much time in. So yeah, I bought a lobe. Catullus is not my favorite poet. I like Horace more. But I bought it. I also might do a bookshelf tour this week because why not? I think my books are pretty interesting. Okay. And the last book, which is the longest book, is I'm going to finally finish this. I'm going to make myself finish this week. I need to finish it. I'm still on interlude number 1. Literally haven't read another page. So that's my plan. It's supposed to be super nice, I think, this coming up week. And last week I put out the hammocks in our backyard. We have 2 hammocks, 1 double person hammock and 1 rope hammock. And it's getting warm because I live in Virginia. So it was 90 degrees last week. But that means it's hammock weather. And we're also supposed to get cicadas. And I am terrified of cicadas. Like, we're supposed to get one of those big, big swarms. We got one of those swarms in the summer of 2017. But I was able to escape it because I went to Italy on a trip. But now I'm stuck here and the cicadas are coming. I'm actually not kidding you when I tell you that I'm absolutely terrified. Absolutely terrified of cicadas. 2nd grade me was not having it 17 years ago. Not having it. Still not having it. So that's my plan. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish this video first, that I am doing this, and I might post on Instagram, and we'll see how this goes. I actually do think I will be doing the bookshelf tour, even though no one's asked for it, because whatever, but I really want to do one. We'll see how it goes. Who knows? I might even show you the other things that I work on this week that aren't work related, like the skirt that I'm making, and definitely get a lot of cat cuddles because that's the best part. But I'm gonna have someone say goodbye with me. This is Echo. I woke her up, but she's a good girl. So we will see you later. She's probably gonna cuddle up with me while I edit this on my computer. And you'll see her a lot because she's always with me. Yeah. Okay, say goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.